Good morning as we go to the Chitas of the day. Today is Tuesday, the 5th day of Cheshvan, of Kislev, I'm sorry. 5th day of Kislev. We are holding the third reading of the Torah of Parshas Vayetze. And we are holding on chapter 29, verse 18. Vayev Yaakov's Rachel, and Yaakov loved Rachel. He said, I will work for you for 7 years. Rachel bitcha katana, in Rachel, your younger daughter. So Rashi says, these are the few days which his mother said, and he shall dwell with him a few days. You should know that this is so because it's written, and they appeared to him like a few days. So his mother said a few days, which meant 7 years. And Yaakov Avinu says, ultimately, those 7 years were just a few days. Berachel bitcha katana. Why does he need to say all these signs? Berachel, bitcha, Tana, and Rachel, your daughter, the younger daughter. Because Jacob knew that Laban was a liar and a deceiver. He said to him, I work for you for Rachel. Unless you say they meant another Rachel from the street, your daughter. Now you'll say, I will change her name to Leah. I will name her Rachel, Leah Rachel. That's what he says, your younger daughter. Nevertheless, Lavan tricked him. Lavan said, fine, wonderful. I better marry her to you. Then marry her to somebody else. Stay with me for 7 years, and you'll marry Rachel. And Yaakov worked for 7 years. Imagine he worked for 7 years. He was ready, came there. He was around in his 74, 75, and now he's waited to work for 7 years. So now he's 82 years old. And it was like him for a few days. I said because he loved him. So Yaakov said, "Love and Hava Ishti, bring me my wife. Kimali Yamav, for my days have been completed. I want to get married. It's time to get married." Rashi says Kimali Yamav because the days have been completed. What my mother said. My mother told me, moreover, my days are complete, for I'm already 84 years old. When will I raise 12 tribes? I'm 84 years old. Well, I'm not getting younger. That is what he meant. And he said that I may come to her. Now, isn't it true that even the most denigrated person would not say this? I want to live with her. That sounds like a very immoral, like a very harsh and not ethical, not a very clean kind of expression. He said, listen, he said this because he wanted to make sure that Lavan understood that he needs to get married. He needs to have children. He's not getting younger. So Lavan gathered all the people of the place. He made a party. He came in the evening, he took Leah Bita, his daughter, and he brought her to him. And they lived together. And Lavan gave Zilpah, his maidservant, to his daughter Leah as a maidservant. Verse 25, he came and passed in the morning, he Leah. He wakes up in the morning and behold, it is Leah. Lavan, he turns to Lavan. He says, Mazay Sasisali, what do you do? What's going on over here? I work for you for Rachel. Why did you deceive me? So now she says, what was the meaning over here? But at night he did not know it was Leah. So because Jacob was giving signs to Rachel, but when she saw that he's bringing Leah, Rachel said, now my sister will become ashamed. So he readily transmitted those signs to her. Lavan said, it's not done so in our place, to marry the younger one before the older one. You know what? Mali Shvuazais, complete the wedding week of this marriage. I'll give you the second daughter. But it all comes no free lunch. You're gonna have to work another 7 years. You're gonna have to work another 7 years for me. And the son of Lach, Rashi is a plural expression. It's all grammar. So the Rashi says, I mean, over here we learn that you don't make ma'av simcha b'simcha. You don't mix one celebration another celebration, but he waits 7 days for this celebration to end to do another celebration. We're holding on verse 28. But Yaakov came and Yaakov did that. But Yimol Shiva Zeis, he waited a week. But Yitlas Rachel Bitay Leilishi married Rachel as a second wife. Yitin Lavan Rachel Bitay Rachel, and Lavan gave Rachel his daughter. He gave her Shivchasa, a Bila. He gave her Bila as a Shivcha for a maidservant. Vayav Gama Rachel, he came to live with Rachel. Vayav Gama Rachel Malay, he actually loved Rachel more than he loved Leah. And he worked there for another 7 years. The Rashi says the scripture compares the first 7 years, the second 7 years to the first 7 years. Just like the first 7 years he worked faithfully, so too he works faithfully for the next 7 years, even though he was tricked. But a commitment is a commitment. Hashem kisnu Leah, and the Abish saw that Leah was hated. He opened up her womb. And Rachel was barren. And Leah got pregnant and she had a son. And she called him Ruvain. Because she said, God saw my afflictions. For now my husband will love me. So he calls her Reuben. Look at my son. Now, Sage explains, she said, look at the difference in my son and the son of my father-in-law, who sold the birthright to Jacob. This one, Reuben, did not sell Joseph. He did not contend against him, but he even sought to take him out of the pit. So my son is not. What did you say? You can't hear me?
Now I can. Okay. Sorry.
My son is not like my father-in-law's son, who was Esau. So Reuben, look at my son. She conceived again, and she had a son. And she said, for the Lord heard, God heard that I was hated. And she gave me another son. Shimon, and she called him Shimon. And she kept pregnant again, Ben, and she had a third son. Now, this time my husband will be attached to me. Because I had 3 sons. Levi. Now, that's why we call them Levi, from the word Yelaveh, be attached to me. The Rashi says, in the matriarchs were prophetess. They knew that 12 tribes would emanate from Yaakov, and that he would marry 4 wives. So they knew this, that this is going to happen. From now on, we find no faults with me, for I've contributed my share. I gave him, if you take 4 wives, and they have to have 12 children, so I just gave him my share, 3 children. So I did my job. So now my husband cannot blame me for anything, because I've basically done the job that I'm supposed to do. And I brought him 3 children. Al-Kain, whoever is referred to expression Al-Kain, had a large population except Levi, because the ark destroyed many of them. Levi, who did the service of carrying of making sure to protect the ark, many of them died from many different plagues that affected them, that they were very close to the ark of God. Kara Shema Levi. I wonder why, Rashi says. It's written only concerning Levi, it's written, and he named him. While the other is written that she named them. Only Levi, it's written, and he named them. So there's an Agada in the Medrash Rabbah, which relates how the Holy One, blessed be he, sent Gabriel, sent an angel, and he brought him Levi before him. And the Eibishter, God, so to say, gave him the name. Because he gave him 24 priestly gifts. And because he accompanied him, Lava, with gifts, his name was Levi. Kami Lavi Ishi is talking not about Yaakov Avinu, but about God. God is going to give him much grace. The tribe of Levi, the Kehanim, and the Leviim are all going to come out from the tribe of Levi. So even though she did her job, and she got pregnant again, Ben, she had a son. Now I have to thank God. Until I was busy with my husband, now I'm going to thank God. Now she called her son Yehuda, thanking God. And she stopped having children. So since I've taken more than my share, I thank God. Chapter 30, verse number 1. And Rachel saw that her sister's having children, and she's not. And she became envious of her sister. She said to Yaakov, you need to give me children. If you're not going to give me children, I'm dead. So now she says, but she was envied in her good deeds. She said, if she had been more righteous than I, she would not have merited to children. So she's not envious in her sister that she was having children. She was envious, maybe she's more righteous than me. Havali, did your father not have prayed for her mother? So why are you not praying for me? You did not pray for her. So why are you not praying? Just because you have children. You don't care about me, you should pray for me. Mesa Naichi, and here we learn whoever has no children, it's counted the concept of the opposite of life. And Jacob became angry with Rachel. Am I instead of God? I'm the one who's holding back for you children. And I am in his place. You say that I did not do as my father did. I'm not like my father. My father had no sons at the time that he prayed, but I have sons. And as a parent, he withheld the children from you, not from me. So she said, she said, listen, you know what? I'll do something like your father did. Here's my maidservant Bila. Ba'ala, marry her. And let her bear children on my knee. So I will have children through her. At the time remembrance, I will have these children through her. What's the meaning to ve'evda gamanechi? I will also. She said to him, your grandfather Abraham had sons from Hagar. Yet he greeted his loins. He prayed for Sarah's behalf. So your answer to me is not a good answer. Because you're right, you have children. I'm not saying you don't have children. I'm saying I'm here. You have to think about me. He replied, my grandmother brought her rival into the house. She said, if this matter is holding things up from preventing having children, here's my maidservant. In essence, she was trying to awaken up mercy in him and in her, like, to pray for children. That's the point of bringing in the maidservant. So imagine the maidservant had children, which she did. That would awaken up mercy upon them. Upon that's why Sarah had the same idea. She said, listen, I'm not having children. Let's bring in Hagar into the picture, which is going to create even more of an emotional, merciful situation, because she's going to have children. I'm still not going to have children. And that will create a mercy upon me. So that's a jealousy, a positive jealousy that the Gemara says, in general, that there is a positive jealousy when a person is jealous of somebody else's wisdom, a person jealous of somebody else's piety. So in essence, she was trying to create this spiritual jealousy that would create a mercy upon her, which ultimately did work. The Eibishter ultimately had mercy upon her. She gave her as a maidservant. Yaakov had a relationship with her. Matar Bila, and she got pregnant. Atela ben Yaakov, she had a son for Yaakov. Tema Rachel, so Rachel said, the Nani Elikim, God has judgment. Begam Shama Bekele, but he's also listening to my verse. Aitali Ben, he gave me a son. Al Cain, Karash my Dun, so she called him Dun, which is kind of judgment. He judged me, declared me guilty, and then declared me innocent. So he's slowly opening up mercy for me. Before, he judged me not to have children. Now, through bringing in Bilhah and having a child, this is going to create another opening for me. And she had another son, Bilhah. With divine bonds, I've been joined to my sister. I also prevailed. Naphtali, and she called him Naphtali. So Rashi says Naphtali, Menachem and Surak, the Gemara clarifies it in the grouping as a bond, as a covered bond, postil. With bonds from God, I have joined my sister to merit children. But I interpret it as an expression of perverse and crookedness. I have stubbornly pleaded my troubles, my tauterous pleas to God to be equal to my sister. So this was a jealousy. In essence, they were not jealous. Their jealousy was to have the Jewish nation. That they would be part of, and they would each one have part of the Jewish nation. That was their jealousy. It was more than just the concept of a child. Self-understood is a beautiful thing, but they were actually out, they understood they were prophets, and they knew that there need to be 12 children. How did this configurate to have 12 children? That's why even Leah ultimately wants Rachel to have at least 2 children. So in essence, ultimately, these 4 women who were great people, especially the 2, Rachel and Leah, knew exactly what they were doing, and they understood and they configured ultimately that most of the children were going to be from Leah. 6 of them are going to be from Leah, and the other 6 are going to be 2 from Bilhah, 2 from Zilpah, and 2 from Rachel. So V'yish said Natalti means that my prayer was accepted. There's many Agadic midrashim that interpret the phrase with methods of the trikim. Each group's letter present the word. These are self-understood. These names were all prophetic names, and they're all connected to that journey that the matriarchs, Rachel and Leah, had in creating the 12 tribes. So again, they were trying to figure out how we're going to do this. So she suddenly Leah saw that she's not having children. So what is going to be, how we're configuring this 12 tribe situation. Atika Zilpa, so she took Zilpa. Shevchasa, he took Zilpa, her maid. She gave it to Yaakov as a wife. And that's what happened. Zilpa, Shivchas Leah Ben. So Rashi says we find something interesting that by Zilpa it doesn't see she got pregnant. It says she had a child. What happened to the pregnancy? So it's like, except Zilpa, because she was the youngest of all, and so young in years that her pregnancy was not even noticed. So in order to see Yaakov, Lavan gave her to Leah. So it would not perceive that they were bringing in Leah. For the custom was to give the older maidservants an older daughter, and the younger maidservants a younger daughter. Actually, all these girls were actually stepsisters. They were all stepsisters. It's brought down. So Rachel and Leah came from one mother, and Bilhah and Zilpah came from another mother, another wife of Lavan. So the way they did it was usually, but they were from a concubine. Those days they had concubines, they had wives and concubines. So they gave the older sister would give him an older concubine, which was a half sister from a concubine, and the younger sister would get a half sister from another concubine. But he flipped it, and that was one of the ways he tricked. That's why it says in the beginning. Why did the Torah tell? Why does the pasuk need to say when they got married he gave Zilpah as a maidservant to Leah? Because that was one of the trick. Suddenly, when Yaakov saw in the beginning that Zilpah is coming with Leah, Leah was covered when he got married. So he thought, oh, this is surely Rachel. Leah ba God. So Leah said, ba God, luck has come. God is luck, but tikish may God. So Rashi says, ba God, good luck has come. Similar to, it's brought down in the Gemara, may my fate be luck, God, Gadi, and not fatigued. Similar, says, who sets the table for God. According to God, according to the Medrash Haggadah is the name of some say he was born circumcised. God means cut off. Cut down, Gadu the tree. But I do not know why it's written as one word, about God. Now verse. Another explanation why is read one word, Bagad. God. What's God? See, what's written, it's this way, it's read, and I get it now. It's read God, but it's written Beis Gimel Daled. But we divide it as God, but it's really bugged, God. It's like Bagadati, you have betrayed me when you came to be my handmaid, as a man who has betrayed his wife. So it's actually the negative. If it's one word, which it is one word, then it will be translated as a negative. Zilpah Shivchas Leah ben Sheni Yaakov, and Zilpah had a second child. Leah ba'ashri, because my good fortune, Kishanani bonus, for women have declared me fortune. Atika Shmei Asher, and she called him Asher. So as we finished the Chumash of today, Yaakov has at this present time 8 children. Yep, 8 children. And we'll continue the Chumash tomorrow. We're holding in the fourth, in Kuntei Zaken, in the fourth chapter of Kuntei Zaken. That's the end of Tanya. The Alter Rebbe is explaining the power of a mitzvah. So the performance of mitzvah, however, so he explained in the previous yesterday's teaching that everything that I do in learning Torah and davening, they all reach up to even the highest levels of spirituality, which is in even the world of emanation, but they only reach up to the outer aspects of those emotions, the outer aspects of chesed. They don't even reach up to the essence of chesed. So, for example, that's why Avraham Avinu said, "I'm but dust and ashes." Even though I am chesed, but in comparison of chesed, the way it's in the spiritual world, I'm nothing. Because I am the outer expressions of chesed of Atzilus. I'm chetzenis of chesed of Atzilus. I can't even comprehend the aspect of chesed of Atzilus itself. I'm only the outer expression of Atzilus. The Rebbe now explains, connects that when they do a mitzvah, is the opposite. And when one does a mitzvah, he connects with the essence of God. When he holds an esrog together with the other three kinds of meditations, thus went to the sukkahs, and we made a bracha on a little of an esrog, and fulfills the mitzvah of the four species on sukkahs, he is holding on to the essence of God. And so too with God to all particular mitzvahs. Any mitzvah that I do, I am touching the divine essence of God. I'm not touching his midos, his attributes. I'm not touching even his wisdom. I'm touching God himself. However, the Alter Rebbe is going to explain it. However, when one performs a mitzvah, these are the works of God. Who came up with this mitzvah? Who came up with the mitzvah of Lul and Esrog? Who came up with the mitzvah of Tefillin? These are all God's mitzvahs. And the Eibishter, unlike other worldly actions from which divinity is utterly concealed, the Alter Rebbe explains how this comes about. That when I do a mitzvah, there's no concealment over here. The Eibishter, God told me to take the lulav and esrog. So I'm doing exactly what God told me to do. I would never come up with it. I have no idea the real hidden mystical meanings behind it, maybe. I'm doing what God asked me to do. In the process of change of the set, the vessels of Atzilus and B'ri Yitzir for the vessels of Atzilus that descend in these worlds, of the divinity of these worlds, from the very nature and essence of their external aspects. For example, when a Jew on Sukkot took an esrog and he put them all together and he made a bracha, did the mitzvah, right? The Holy One, blessed be He, clothes something of the very nature and the essence of the internal attribute of the kindness of Zah. So over there, the Abish said, I'm going to come into that when you're going to take these four kinds and you're going to put them together. For pasuk says, you're going to put it together. Boom. It's going to come in. I'm going to connect. There's going to be a connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How? That's my job. I do the connection. I'm telling you that the connection happens. You're right. You might not know how the connection happens. How does the connection happen? I take a esrog, I take a lulav, I take a myrtle, I take a willow. Bing, I put it together. Boom. Maybe said that's my job. You do this, and I connect. I know. So the Eibishter comes down, its very nature, the essence of the internal attribute of kindness, meaning from the outer state, from the external aspect of these internal attributes. As known from the case of all mitzvahs that require physical action. By contrast, who by means of his intellect, man by contrast, who by the means of his intellectual or spiritual emotional can attain intellectually generated love and fear. that if you're going to do it, if you're going to wait for you to connect to God, you're not going to use God's connections. You're going to come to your own connections. Even if you have an Neshama Atzilus, even if you're Moshe Rabbeinu, who possesses a soul of the will of Atzilus, you have an unbelievable soul. The problem is, you might have an unbelievable soul, but you're a human being. Since your soul is connected and clothed in a body, then my friends, then as long as your soul in the body, you cannot apprehend the nature and the essence of the inner attribute of kindness of Zohar Atzilus. That's what Avraham Avinu said, I am Chesed. But compared to Chesed of Zohar Atzilus, I'm nothing. Because how high I'm going to be, how great intellectual I'm going to be, how great my soul is. I am now a human being. And automatically, since I'm a human being, my neshama is close to the body. My body, my neshama now cannot receive and understand chesed of Zohar Atzilus. It's impossible for me to do that. It's impossible for me. For the general term, Atzilus represents a state of chaya in the four worlds of Atzilus B'Yesiyah. So what does that mean? Specifically, each of the four worlds possesses all four levels of nefesh, ruach, neshama, right? The five levels of the soul. Nefesh, ruach, neshama is the emotional part of the neshama, the emotional part of the soul. Then you have the chaya. In general sense, however, each of the four worlds corresponds to one level. Asiya corresponds to nefesh. Yitzira is ruach. Bria is neshama. Atzilus is chaya sheb'neshama. So that's the highest level of the neshama. She b'chinas makiv. Chaya denotes encompassing transcendence, not being vested within the vessel whatsoever. So that's why we all have naradan sheb'neshama. You learn Tanya. We all have naradan. We all have Naran, nefesh, ruach, neshama of the soul. You have nefesh, which is your physical part of your soul, the most physical part of the soul itself. The ruach, which is the emotional soul, and you have the neshama, which is the intellect of the soul. We all have that. We all get that. But the chaya sheb'nefesh, which is the life of the soul, that is something that usually is above us, and that's in Atzilus. That's why only the tzaddikim have chaya sheb'neshama. That's the expression tzaddikim see their life chayim in their lifetimes, because they are connected to chaya sheb'neshama. So unlike the soul levels of man, neshama, which reflect its power of comprehension, or ruach, which reflect its spiritual emotion, and so on, each of these levels having a specific location within the body. Chaya, in general, is a transcendent soul level that encompasses the individual from above. So do with regard to the world's Chaya parallels to the world of Atzilus. Its spiritual level that encompasses from above and does not itself vest itself within a vessel. Thus, a person living within a body cannot possibly apprehend the essence of the entity of the level of Atzilus. Even a tzaddik, he only can receive from the chitzonis of Atzilus, but he doesn't have the essence of Atzilus. And then again, that's why Avraham Avinu said, I am but dust and ashes. With regard to internal attribute of kindness of Zohar, man is able to apprehend only their existence through intellectual generated awe and love. And that's why it says, and that's the statement, you shall see my hinder part. Moshe Rabbeinu is in the Neshama of Atzilus. Moshe Rabbeinu is the soul of the will of Atzilus. And that's why he asked to God to see him face to face. God says, impossible. you, an neshama of the world of Atzilus, that's all you can see is my backside. The Yisas Achayre. With Derech Nevuah Dafka. And seeing it penetrates the essence of the matter, this refers only to prophecy. She is Pashas Agashmis, for prophecy entails the vestment of the physical. As explained in Ayim, that's why the prophets, that's why Moshe Rabbeinu reached the highest level of prophecy. He had the capability of prophesizing, of having a face-to-face relationship with God in a way that he saw God, not without prophet, without sleeping. Most prophets needed to sleep. Why did they need to sleep? Why did they need to see a vision in their sleep? Because sleep is going away from the physical. And when you go away from the physical, you can reach up to Chaya. You can reach up to prophecy. The more physical you are, it's very hard to have prophecies. Because you're too physical to go above yourself. Prophecy is something that's connected to God. So that's why, in many ways, they used to call a prophet a Meshuggah, because they would have to act Meshuggah almost. Because they couldn't act like a normal human being. Why? Why was that possible? See, even Moshe Rabbeinu, who had this relationship, who had this connection, who didn't have to have prophecy through sleep, but still, as we said before in Tanya, Moshe Rabbeinu, that's one of the reasons Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to go into Eretz Yisrael, because he wanted to do a physical mitzvah. He wanted to do the physical mitzvah. So even Moshe Rabbeinu, as an Neshama Atzilus, and had the capability of this relationship and this prophecy, and reached up to the highest prophecy, like come Navi Moshe, there's no greater prophet than Moshe Rabbeinu. Still did not go and ask God, I want to see you face to face. God said that's not possible. It's impossible for a human being. So the reason is, because it's incapable of grasping anything whatsoever from the essence of God, the Creator. It's impossible. It's impossible. When the Jewish people saw revelation on Mount Sinai, they all died. Because it's impossible for a physical person to receive divinity. And as a human being in this world, I don't care how great your soul is, as a human being in this world, without understanding, then there's no connection. So it's not real investure or grasping or cleaving. Right? Man is thus incapable of truly cleaving to God's attributes, meaning to the attribute of Atzilus. So it's impossible. That's it. No man, no human being, as a human being, can connect to the essence of God. End of story. So in the light of the above, it's clear that the love and fear of God that a Jew generates through meditation, whether during prayers, right? He grasps and cleaves to no more than the external aspect of the existence of divinity and not his essence. That comes if it comes through my intellect, and it comes through my emotions, and it comes through my prayer. The opposite is when I take that esrog. When I just take that esrog, I take the lulav and the esrog, and I put it together. However, as to the esrog, by example, its life is drawn and descends from the very essence of the outer aspect of the vessel, the nukva of Zohar Atzilus, which is truly state of divinity. As it's written in Chaim, all fruits are rooted in Atzilus. This is Kabbalah. Kelamed, Kalim, Atzilus, Yodel Bria, Tzira, for the 30 vessels of Atzilus descend into Bria, Yitzira, in order to become divinity in those worlds. And these are the 10 utterances which the world was created. Are the establishment of Nukva Dasiya, the most to the enclosement of Nukasiya essence in essence. So in simple terms, what the Alter Rebbe said in very Kabbalistic words of the Zohar, the essence of the vessel of Malchus Atzilus vested itself in the essence of Malchus Asiyah, which in the source of all created beings of the world, including among them the fruits of that world, such as the Esrog. While the garden is found in other physical matters are concealed, in an object used for a mitzvah, it is manifest, as explained in Tanya, chapter 23. So in an apple, you cannot see the holiness in the apple, but the Esrog is a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to take an Esrog. Kachtam lachem pri eitz hadar. Torah says openly, take an Esrog. For the vessel of Atzilus became the soul of Asiyah, which is actually a state of divinity. Because in the world of Atzilus, he and his vessels are one. The emanator, the infinite light, and the emanation, the vessel of Atzilus, they become one. So ultimately, just like Atzilus, in the world of Atzilus, its vessels and its light are one. So too ultimately, as they travel from the world of Atzilus to the world of Bria, to the world of Yitzir, to the world of Yisir, they're still one. And through the enclosement of the essence of the soul of the vessel of Atzilus, in the essence of the vessel of Nukva, Malchus, of the world of action, the Esrog came into being. Nimtza. So if you understand this, if you take that Esrog, and you take that lulav, which is also comes from the tree, and you take that adasim and arav, that willow and that myrtle, and you put it together, and you wave it as the law requires, you are grabbing nukva of the world of Atzilus. You are grabbing Malchus Atzilus. You're grabbing Atzilus. Whether you see it, whether you don't see it, that's what's happening when I grab that lulav and esrog. Which Malchus of the world of Atzilus is united with God. So you're grabbing the essence of God, so to say. However, it's not in the case when one holds other fruits where there's no mitzvah involved. The answer is, as previously explained, that in other physical object, the godly force is concealed, where it's revealed in an object of a mitzvah. For these are the works of God. So therefore, that's the power of doing a mitzvah. Because you're doing it because God commanded you. Why are Jews taking a lulav and Esther and shaking it around? Why are we crazy? You have nothing better to do than take these fruits and shake it around. Because the Abish had to do that. God said to do it. And if I do it, because God, not because I understand per se, I don't know, it's not about me. My davening is about me. Even the learning of Torah is about me. It's my intellect, because it has to be about me, because God says, I want you to learn Torah with your intellect. God says a mitzvah is about God. I'm asking you, that's what he's saying. Every mitzvah, you commanded us. You sanctified us with this mitzvah, and you commanded us. This is not the case concerning one's intention while performing a mitzvah of esek. He's not, even if he's going to have all the intellect in the world, and he's going to have all the understanding of the mitzvah of esek, he's still, all his intellect is nothing. He doesn't grasp the essence of God. The way he's going to grasp it is by taking it. That's why the example is given. You can have a person who has all the knowledge in the mitzvah, and you have the second person who has no knowledge. And the one who has no knowledge did the mitzvah, and the one who has all knowledge didn't do the mitzvah. Ultimately, the one that has no knowledge did the mitzvah, connected to God. And the one that had all the knowledge did not do the mitzvah and didn't connect to God. So even though he had all the knowledge and connected to God through his intellect, which is unbelievable, but all his intellect is only an outer expression of God. There's no intellect can grasp God. Only the mitzvah you can grasp God. But that is also the beauty of both the limit halacha, because if you want to do the mitzvah, kilchasa, you need to learn the halacha of the mitzvah. Because we want to do kilchasa, because that's to get a grasp God. I can't make up the laws of the esrog and lulav. I need to learn the halacha. I need to learn how to make a lulav and esrog, and how to hold the lulav and esrog, and how to shake the lulav and esrog, because then I'm going to do the mitzvah. If I don't know the halacha, so then even I took the lulav and esrog, I'm still not doing the mitzvah kilchasa. And I'm still not accomplishing, grasping God until I do it the way God wants me to do it. And that's the halacha of the mitzvah. So this is entirely unlike holding a physical esrog and performing mitzvah with it, at which time one grasps the essence of the physical esrog together with the source of divinity. However, by studying the law of esrog, one does attain and grasp the esrog proper and its mitzvah appropriately by speech and thought. For here he's articulating or understanding or thinking about the law of the physical esrog, whose essence he grasps and its spiritual intent in the heavenly realms. But Kol Shkein Halemid Seid, especially a person who learns the esoteric part of the law of an esrog, of the mitzvah of esrog, according to the teaching Kabbalah Chassidus, now you can even go even deeper. For here too, we're speaking of the esoteric dimension of physical esrog, whose essence he can't comprehend, and not the spiritual intention of the mitzvah yet, or yet higher, to relate the relevant configuration in the spheres of the world of Atzilus. This, however, refers to only the study of Kabbalista of the mitzvah itself. The lay God, that's not worse than learning the law of the mitzvah. But if you learn the esoteric part of this mitzvah, it's unbelievable. Even though in a masik bus, even though, as I said before, as much as you can learn, you're not going to apprehend the essence. Only by the physical action, you're going to connect to the essence. And not through even learning the esoteric part of this mitzvah are you going to connect to the essence. That, right? So moreover, his understanding of the essence of the esrog and the object with the mitzvah is observed, grants him some apprehension of the essence of the mystical teachings of the subject at large. But ultimately, you need to take the esrog in your hand and the lulav and the adasim and the ravis and shake it the way you're supposed to do it. And that's the only way you're going to connect to God's essence. That completes the Tanya of the day. Beautiful Tanya of the day, I must say. And today is the 5th day of the month of Kislev. The 5th day in the month of Kislev. So we are marching towards Yutes Kislev. We are marching towards the 19th of Kislev. The ending of Tanya, the beginning of Tanya again, in Mirch Hashem. And today is the 5th day. So the chapters of Psalms are chapter 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So 29 to 34. 29 to 34. And you have done the chitas of the day. I wish you all a wonderful and beautiful and happy and healthy day. In the Mirz Hashem, I will see you all tomorrow at 8 o'clock when we continue the Chitas of the day.